Good evening, everybody. My name is Master Mel Arpilia from Island Warriors Dojo on Alabama Street. We are now part of the GVRD along with Kaju Campbell. Let's give Kaju Campbell another round of applause. We're going to demonstrate a traditional ancient form of Filipino martial arts called Balintawak Arnis. You might have seen this in some of the movies like the Born Identity series, Book of Eli, the movie 300 with the Spartan soldiers. Filipino martial arts has been used for centuries to protect our tribes, our families, our people from invaders, because the Philippines is made up of 7,100 different islands. So this art traditionally uses a bladed weapon. This is a wooden bolo, but they're usually made of steel or iron. But we use sticks so that we're safer, so that we don't cut off each other's arms and fingers and legs and necks. This martial art came from the islands of Cebu. It was taught here in Vallejo by Grandmaster Ver Villison, and then taught to me. And then we now have students at 1027 Alabama Street. So this is a close-range fighting system using sticks and empty hands and knives. It's very practical. We teach the art. We teach the history of the Philippines and the culture, as well as the application of the art in self-defense methods. So we're going to start out by showing you the 12 basic strikes. Strike number 1 is to the head. Strike number 2, other side of the head. Strike number 3 is to the ribs. Number 4, other side of ribs. Number 5, thrust to the belly. Number 6, thrust to the chest. 7, thrust to the other side of the chest. 8, strike to the knee. 9, strike to the other knee. 10, thrust to the head. 11, thrust to the other side of the head. And 12, call that our kill shot to the top of the head and back. A little bit faster. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and back. Now, what we teach in this art is not just the strikes, but the blocking or the defense, because anybody can pick up a stick or a knife or throw a punch, but not everyone can block and counter. So we call this style of Filipino martial arts quintada, meaning that every time there's a strike, there's a counter to that strike. And there's also a counter to the counter and a counter to the counter. So it's sort of like playing chess. But what we're going to show you first is the defense against those 12 strikes. So I'm going to call the block and then hold it until I say hit. So these blocks correspond to the 12 strikes. 1, hit. 2, hit. 3, hit. 4, hit. 5, hit. 6, hit. 7, hit. 8, hit. 9, hit. 10, hit. 11, hit. And 12. Back. Single count. Ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Back. It probably makes more sense when you see someone feeding those strikes to an opponent. So I'm going to have Galay Tony feed it to KO over here. So nice and slow. So Tony is going to feed strike number 1. There's a block and a counter. Number 2, block, counter. 3, block, counter. 4, block, counter. 5, block, counter. 6, block, counter. 7, block and the counter. 8, block, counter. 9, block, counter. 10, block and counter. 11, block and counter. And 12. There we go. So let's give them a round of applause. So that's how you apply it. I have Cody over there show it with Gabay Tony again. This time they're just going to go free flow. So this is the 12 strikes and the 12 defense, but randomly. So once a student learns how to block and counter, then they can just do it in any order. We call it random, because in a real fight, there is no numerical order. So they're also showing their footwork. Again, it's a close range fighting system. And close it out. Let's give them a round of applause. So in this art, we also teach how to use our empty hand. We call our empty hand our secret weapon, because we only use one stick or one weapon. So we use our other hand to do other things. I'll let Gabay Tony explain what I'm doing with the grouping system.
Afternoon. Grouping, there are 5 groupings. Grouping number 1 teaches the student how to clear, lift and clear. So using the open hand, the opponent might think that they have the advantage holding your weapon, but you can lift and clear that weapon out of their hand and hit their head. We believe that the head is the battery. One hit to the head and they're dead. Number 2, this teaches the student to move and block toward their neck, and again lift and counter, and lift and clear. So don't think if you hold their weapon that you have the advantage. Grouping number 3 teaches you to avoid a over-the-head strike, to move back. Notice how Frankie keeps the stick away from his head as much as possible, and he bends back almost like Awas. And 2 swift hits to the other side.
So grouping number 4 is how to avoid a stab to the middle of the chest and a fast strike called a sombrada or abanico, which is a strike from one side to the second side. So see how fast Tony can move from one side to the other side to block. Grouping number 5, he's going to learn how to block and defend himself against both a punch or different kinds of punches as well as a stick at the same time. Those are our grouping methods. So all those techniques in the grouping can come out in any kind of fight, so we teach the students how to be prepared for anything. Next thing we teach students are how to disarm. So a fight ends when you get hit in the head or you're brought down to the ground and your weapon is taken away from you. So let's start with disarm number 1, and I'm going to bring my lovely wife up. That's how she keeps me in line at home. Here's another group, or here's another disarm with Tony. Now for every one of those 12 strikes, there are multiple disarms. So we're just showing you a sample. Now we're going to show you a sample of some counter to counters to some of these disarms. So those are just some samples of what we're calling counter to counter. So once I tried to disarm him, he disarmed me back, and then I disarmed him again, and we finally end the fight. So what you saw here today is with the sticks, but the sticks are just an extension of the open hand. So I'm going to bring up two students, Angelina and Daniel. Keep your sticks. Come out front. They're going to show you our defense number 12 with the sticks. So go ahead, nice and slow. With the sticks, with the sticks. There you go. So that's defense number 12 with the sticks. One more time. So he strikes, she parries, and she hits. Now they're going to do it with open hands. So this is that transition from stick to open hand. Go ahead, slow. She punches, she parries, she punches back, he parries, and they can just do that with different punches and strikes, and she just parries and blocks and counters everything that he throws at her. Until finally, she takes him down with an elbow. So as you saw, every time she struck, or he struck, there was a counter, a block, as well as a counter punch. In our style, every block has a counter to the head. One more time. Move your sticks out the way so you don't trip. Too late, too late. Okay, once you guys stay up there, because I want Angelina to show that anything can be a weapon. Because 99.9% of the time, we're not going to have a stick with us when we're going to school, when we're going shopping, when we're going out to the grocery store. But one thing that we're always going to have with us, or most of us, is our cell phone. So the cell phone can be a weapon as well. And all the techniques that we do with a stick can be done with any kind of weapon, including the empty hand. So we're going to show you a technique with the phone. So Daniel is someone trying to steal a young girl's phone. Angelina hits him in the head with a number 1 strike to the forehead, puts him in an arm lock, kicks him in the stomach, and runs away. Let's do it one more time. Once you turn around so people can see where you're hitting him. Slow again. So he tries to steal her phone. She grabs his arm, hits him 3 times, 2 times with the phone with a number 1 strike, puts him in an arm lock, pushes him down, and she's gone. See that a little bit faster. Why don't you kick him a little harder too? We're going to look realistic. Boom, boom, boom. You don't want to mess with her. Let's give him a round of applause. Then we're going to have Frankie with his Uncle Tony come up and show you a defense against a knife. So it doesn't matter what size you are, as long as you know the techniques and how to get out of the line, how to move your body. There it goes. So it's not about size, it's about technique. Good job, Frankie. One more time. So Tony goes up, puts a knife on his back, he spins around, blocks it, stabs in his stomach, puts him in a wrist lock, throws him down, stabs him, and it's home to mama. Let's give him a round of applause. So we practice a lot of knife defense because a knife is usually one of the number one weapons that's going to be used against someone out on the street. So Daniel and I are going to show you a few more tricks with the knife.
And here, Daniel will step off the line, avoiding a thrust attack. So slow down. The next Daniel will show the technique called awas, how we bend like the bamboo bending in the wind. Evading a knife attack, slice to the side of his head, like number one. He grabs it, wrist lock, and throws Master Mel to the ground. Yeah, it was too soft. Let's do it again. There you go.
Again, we use a lot of wrist locks and arm locks in this style. But again, the sticks are just a substitute for the blades. So we're going to end with a little bit of blade sparring.
Do that.